Hi, boys and girls. We're going to go over how to find, complete, and where to turn in your lesson for ELA, lesson 0402. So to start, I'm going to go to the Language Arts course. I'm going to go to Module 4, and we're looking for lesson 0402. I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to click on the lesson icon, which is the blank page icon, 0402. Now, for this assignment, boys and girls, you're actually going to need to use lesson 0401 and 0402. So you're going to need to use the previous lesson and this lesson to complete the assignment. So to find the assignment, just like all assignments, they're on the last page of the lesson. You're obviously going to go through the whole entire lesson, do all of the practice activities, read all of the stories. But the assignment's on the last page, page 9, under What is my assignment? And it says it's time to show what you know, complete and submit your informative writing graphic organizer that you worked on in the lesson. Make sure you've included all of the details you need in your plan before submitting. The writing prompt for this assignment is written below as a reminder. So here you've got your writing prompt, and it says, tracing the tractor's legacy and the car catalyst discusses two different modes of transportation and how they have changed over time. Using the texts, explain how transportation changed the world. Use evidence from the text to support your response. And then you've got your graphic organizer here at the bottom. And it is a 2-page graphic organizer, and this needs to be completed fully. Both pages need to be completed. Okay, now let's go back to the What's My Assignment page and look at the writing prompt. The writing prompt mentions 2 stories, Tracing the Tractor's Legacy and The Car Catalyst. So you've got 2 stories that you're going to be using in order to complete this graphic organizer. Now, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that we're also going to need to use lesson 0401, and that's because tracing the tractor's legacy, that story is in 0401. I'm going to show you where that story is just as a reminder so that you know where to find it so that you can complete this graphic organizer. So to find this story, Tracing the Tractor's Legacy, we're going to go to 0401. So I'm going to use this Previous Activities button here that's going left to take me back to 0401. Once you get back into this lesson, 0401, we're looking for the story Tracing the Tractors, and that story is on page 6. Now, you should have already read this story as you were doing this lesson, 0401, but it might be a good idea to go back and reread the story as you're working on this graphic organizer. The story is towards the bottom or towards the middle of this page, Tracing the Tractor's Legacy. Okay, and you can click through, and there are a few different sections of the story. Make sure you read all the different sections. Okay. All right, so that's where you find Tracing the Tractor's Legacy. Now I'm going to go back to 0402 using my Next Activity button. And again, the assignment is on the last page. And I just showed you how to find the first story, Tracing the Tractor's Legacy, but you also have this story here, The Car Catalyst. And this story is in this lesson, 0402. This story is on page 4 of the lesson. Okay, The Car Catalyst, and it's towards the bottom here. Make sure you read this story because the story is going to help you answer the prompt. Okay, so after you have read and reread both of the stories for the prompt, if you go to page 6 of this lesson, 0402, after you've read both the stories, you've got your writing prompt here. Again, the same prompt that's on the last page of the lesson. And what's really good about this page, page 6, is that it goes through an example of how to complete this graphic organizer. Now it's using a different writing prompt. The examples prompt is, how did water transportation change the world? It's focusing on one type of transportation, whereas your prompt you're answering for the assignment is explaining how transportation changed the world. So this example is focusing on a type of transportation. Your prompt is more general, just transportation in general. How has it changed the world? But if you go through this example, it gives an example of the controlling idea. It gives an example of a hook. It gives an example, again, more examples of different hooks you can use. It gives you an example of a bridge for your graphic organizer in your introduction. It goes over how to write your body paragraphs. It goes over how to write your conclusion. And then on the last slide of this example, it even gives you an example of the graphic organizer filled out. And again, the prompt is different than the prompt that you're answering or you're completing for your graphic organizer, but you can still use this as a guide. I would highly recommend looking at this and just using it as a guide and just changing it so that it fits the prompt that we're doing for our assignment. But again, that was on page 6 of the 0402 lesson. All right, so once you've read both the stories, and again, the first story, the Tracing the Tractors, is on page 6 of lesson 401. And then once you reread the car catalyst in this lesson 0402 on page 4, make sure you look at the example on page 6 of 0402. And again, with this writing prompt, boys and girls, here's the main question. Using both the texts, both Tracing the Tractor's Legacy and the Car Catalyst, explain how transportation changed the world. Use evidence from both the texts to support your response. So some things I'm going to be looking for as you do this graphic organizer is your hook and your controlling ideas. But then as you get into your topic sentences and your body paragraphs with your facts and your details, I'm going to be looking for you using evidence from both the texts to complete this graphic organizer. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Once your graphic organizer is completed, you're going to go to the next activity tab, and then you'll submit your graphic organizer, both pages. On this page, you'll have a blue plus button here. You're going to click that and attach your work.